You then went through, to fast forward to our history, then a couple years later, you met a guy named Phil Heath. And what did you think of Phil when you first met him? Because you met him before I did.
Yeah, I mean, I was guest posing in Denver. I told that story a million times, but, you know, he was standing backstage, and, you know, I was a guest poser, and you see bodies, right? I mean, we had been around it enough by that point, and I'd seen some of the great pros. And he was standing over there, and I saw the crazy arms and the insertions, right? And I said, who's that guy? And he said, oh, he's the local guy. I think I asked Jeff Taylor, because Jeff Taylor was the chairperson that brought me out there. It was in Boulder, Colorado. And somehow I went up and said, you look good, what are you doing? You know, and Phil's very talkative, right? He's very friendly. And I said, man, you know, you have a lot of potential and whatever. And I think he said, oh, I wanted to do a show, but I just didn't have the money or something. He was a trainer at Bally's or something at the time. Somehow we you know, I guest posed, and that night we ended up eating at Cheesecake Factory right there in downtown Boulder, and you know, we got to strike a conversation. And I remember walking away and thinking, wow, this he's intelligent, right? And I think he has a head, because I always looked at people's physiques, but I also had to read the person and their drive and what they're about with their vision, right? And sometimes you can get that gist when you talk to people, like what their goals are. And I just was impressed by that with him. I think he kind of had that mindset, which is very important for bodybuilding. And I walked away from that, and I said, hey, we exchanged numbers. And I mean, I remember Sunday I reached out to Peter McGough at Flex, Muscle and Fitness at the time, and I said, hey man, I just found the next Mr. Olympia.
Did you actually say that?
Yeah.
Wow. You thought he was that good then?
Yeah. And Peter had him signed on Monday, the books, and he had money to compete, and I think that's when you guys linked up. I called Chris Aceto too, and I'm like, hey, I found the next Mr. Olympia, and I sent him pictures, and he goes, no. He didn't think so.
He didn't think so, huh?
No, he didn't think so. And so I felt pretty solid when eventually Phil came up and made it, although I always mention I didn't expect him to come so fast, right? Like, and take me out. But it was, I was impressed with Phil's body, but I was more impressed with his mind and the person he was. And that's why I knew there was a lot of great things that Phil Heath would give to the bodybuilding world in the future. And, you know, I believed that. I remember going to the gym every day with that vet and feeling like, okay, I'm accomplished. You know, I made it. Crazy how far you come, right?
How much it's about the mindset, because so many people have genetics, especially at the top, but what you do with the genetics and how you go about it, you know, whether you train or you self-sabotage,